Hello, Shalom. Welcome to day 81 of the Daily Bread. We'll be continuing our journey in Leviticus chapter 2, 2 Samuel 11, Psalms 84, Proverbs 19, and we'll be finishing off Luke 24. We'll begin the scriptures, 2009. Leviticus chapter 2 is on page 104. Excuse me. And when anyone brings a grain offering to Yahweh, his offering is to be of fine flour. And he shall pour oil on it, and put frankincense on it. And he shall bring it to the sons of Aaron the priest, and he shall take from it his hand filled with fine flour and oil, with all the frankincense. And the priest shall burn it as a remembrance portion on the slaughter place, an offering made by fire, a sweet fragrance to Yahweh. And the rest of the grain offering is for Aaron and his sons, most set apart of the offering to Yahweh by fire. And when you bring as an offering a grain offering baked in the oven, it is unleavened cake of fine flour mixed with oil, and unleavened thin cakes anointed with oil. But if your offering is a grain offering on the griddle, it is of fine flour, unleavened mixed with oil, divided into bits, and pour oil on it. It is a grain offering. And if you're offering a grain offering in a stewing pot, it is made of fine flour with oil. And you shall bring to Yahweh the grain offering that is made of these, and shall present it to the priest, and he shall bring it to the slaughter place. And the priest shall take from the grain offering a remembrance portion, and burn it on the slaughter place of an offering made by fire, a sweet fragrance to Yahweh. And the rest of the grain offering is for Aaron and his sons, most set apart of the offering to Yahweh made by fire. No grain offering which you bring to Yahweh is made with leaven, for you do not burn any leaven or any honey in an offering to Yahweh made by fire. Bring them to Yahweh as an offering of first fruits, but they are not burned on the slaughter place for a fragrance. Season with salt every offering of your grain offering, and do not allow the salt of the covenant of your Elohim to be lacking from your grain offering. With all your offering you bring salt. And if you bring a grain offering of first fruits to Yahweh, bring for the grain offering of your first fruits green heads of grain roasted on the fire, crushed heads of new grain. And you shall put oil on it, and lay frankincense on it. It is a grain offering. And the priest shall burn the remembrance portion from the crushed grain and from its oil, with all the frankincense, an offering made by fire to Yahweh. On to Samuel 11 on page 326. And it came to be at the turn of the year, at that time sovereigns go out to battle, that David sent Joab and his servants with him, and all Israel, and they destroyed the children of Ammon and besieged Rahab, but David remained in Jerusalem. And it came to be at evening time that David rose up from his bed and walked about on the roof of the sovereign's house. And from the roof he saw a woman bathing, and the woman was very good to look at. And David sent and asked about the woman, and said, Is this not Bathsheba, the daughter of Eli, the wife of Uriah the Hittite? And David sent messengers to fetch her, and she came to him, and he lay with her, for she was cleansing herself from her uncleanness, and she returned to her house. And the woman conceived, and sent and informed David, and said, I am pregnant. Then David sent to Joab, Send Uriah the Hittite to me. And Joab sent Uriah to David, and Uriah came to him, and David asked how Joab was doing, and how was the people were doing, and how the fighting was going. And David said to Uriah, Go down to your house, wash your feet. And Uriah went out from the sovereign's house, and a gift from the sovereign followed him. But Uriah lay down at the door of the sovereign's house with all the servants of his master, and did not go down to his house. And they informed David, saying, Uriah did not go down to his house. So David said to Uriah, Did you not come from a journey? Why did you not go down to your house? And Uriah said to David, The ark and Israel and Judah are dwelling in booths, and my master Joab and the servants of my master are encamped in the open fields. And should I go to my house to eat and to drink and to lie with my wife? As you live, and as your being lives, let me not do this. And David said to Uriah, Remain here today also and tomorrow, and I let you go. So Uriah remained in Jerusalem that day and the next. And David called him, and he ate and drank before him, and he made him drunk. And at evening he went out to lie on his bed with the servants of his master, but he did not go down to his house. And it came to be in the morning that David wrote a letter to Joab, and sent it by the hand of Uriah. And he wrote in the letter, saying, Set Uriah in front of the toughest battle, and you shall turn away from him, and he shall be stricken and die. Setting them up, man. And it came to be, as Joab watched the city, that he appointed Uriah to the place where he knew there were brave men. And the men of the city came out and forgot that Joab, and fought with Joab. And some of the people of the servants of David fell, and Uriah the Hittite also died. And Joab sent and reported to David all the events of the battle, and commanded the messenger, saying, When you have finished reporting all the events of the battle to the sovereign, then it shall be, if the sovereign's wrath rises, and he says to you, Why did you go so near to the city when you fought? Did you not know that they would shoot from the wall? Who struck Amalek, the son of Yersheba? Was it not a woman who threw an upper millstone on him from the wall, so that he died in Tehebetz? Why did you go near the wall? Then you shall say, Your servant Uriah the Hittite is also dead. And the messenger went and came and reported to David all with which Joab had sent him. And the messenger said to David, The men have been mighty against us, and came out to us in the field, and we drove them back as far as the entrance of the gate. And the archers shot from the wall at your servants, and some of the sovereign's servants are dead, and your servant Uriah the Hittite is also dead. And David said to the messenger, Say to Joab, Do not let this matter be evil in your eyes, For the sword devours one as well as another. Strengthen your attack against the city, and overthrow it, and strengthen him. And the wife of Uri heard that Uri her husband was dead, and she lamented for her husband. And when her mourning was over, David sent and brought her to his house, and she became his wife, and bore him a son. But the deed that David had done was evil in the eyes of Yahweh. Yeah, man, that's not cool. Psalms 84 on page 694. How lovely are your dwelling places, O Yahweh of hosts! My being has longed and even fainted. For the courts of Yahweh, my heart and my flesh cry out for the living El. Even the sparrow has found a home, and the swallows a nest for herself, where she has put her young ones. Your slaughter places, O Yahweh of hosts, my sovereigns and my El. Blessed are those who dwell in your house. They are praising you, Salah. Blessed is the man whose strength is in you. Your highways are in their heart. Passing through the valley of weeping, they make it a fountain. The treasure also covers with it blessings. They go from strength to strength, appearing before Elohim in Zion. O Yahweh, Elohim of hosts, hear my prayer. Give ear, O Elohim of Jacob, Salah. O Elohim, see our shield. Look upon the face of your anointed. For a day in your courts is better than 1,000 days. I have chosen rather to be a doorkeeper in the house of my Elohim than to dwell in the tents of the wrong. For Yahweh Elohim is a sun and a shield. Yahweh gives favor and esteem. He withholds no good matter for those who walk blamelessly. Yahweh of hosts, O Yahweh of hosts, blessed is the man who trusts in you. Moving on to Proverbs 19 on page 746. Better is the poor walking in his integrity than one of perverse lips, who is a fool. Also, desire without knowledge is not good, and he who hurries with his feet sins. The foolishness of man perverts his way, and his heart is wroth against Yahweh. Wealth adds many friends, but the poor is separated from his friend. A false witness does not go unpunished, and he who breathes out lies does not escape. Many entreat the favor of the noble, and all are friends to him who give gifts. All the brothers of the poor shall hate him. How much more shall his friends go far from him? He pursues promises, they are gone. He who gets heart loves his own life. He who guards understanding finds good. A false witness does not go unpunished. And he who breathes out lies perishes. Luxury is not fitting for a fool, much less for a servant to rule over princes. A man's discretion makes him patient, and his adoring is passed over a transgression. The sovereign's wrath is like the roaring of a lion, but his delight is like dew on the grass. A fool's son is a calamity to his father, and the contentions of a wife are a continual dripping. Houses and riches are the inheritance from fathers, but an understanding wife is from Yahweh. Laziness makes one fall into a deep sleep, and an idle being suffers hunger. He who guards the command guards his life. He who despises his way dies. He who shows favor to the poor lends to Yahweh, and he repays his deed. Discipline your son because there is an expectation, and do not set your being on his destruction. One of the great wraths bears punishment, for if you rescue him, you only have to do it again. Listen to counsel and accept discipline, so that you are wise in your latter end. Many are the plans in a man's heart, but it is the counsel of Yahweh that stands. What is desirable in a man is his loving commitment, and a poor man is better than a liar. The fear of Yahweh leads to life, and he remains satisfied. He is not visited by evil. A lazy one buries his hand in a dish and does not bring it back to his mouth. Strike a scoffer, and the simple is made wise. And reprove one who has understanding, and he discerns knowledge. He who plunders a father chases away his mother, is a son causing shame and bringing a reproach. Cease, my son, to hear discipline, and you shall stray from the words of knowledge. The witness of Belial scorns right ruling, and the mouth of the wrong ones devours wickedness. Judgments are in store for scoffers, and beatings for the backs of fools. Moving on to Luke chapter 24. This will finish out the book of Luke. Yeshua has been is up on the stake and has passed, and they're process of burying him. Luke 24, page 1018. But on day one of the week, which is at early dawn, so it's 3 days after, they came to the tomb, bringing the spices which they had prepared. And they found the stone rolled away from the tomb. And having entered, they did not find the body of the Master, Yeshua. And it came to be, as they were perplexed about this, that, see, 2 men stood by them in glistening garments. And becoming frightened and bowing their faces to the earth, these said to them, Why do you seek the living among the dead? He is not here, but he has been raised up. Remember how he spoke to you when he was still in Galilee, saying the Son of Adam has to be delivered into the hands of sinners, and be impaled, and on the 3rd day rise again. And they remembered his words. And having returned from the tomb, they reported all this to the 11 and all the rest. And it was Miriam of Magdala, and John, Johann, and Miriam, the mother of Jacob, and the rest of them, who told this to the emissaries. And their words appeared to them to be nonsense, and they did not believe them. But Kepha, Simon Peter, arose and ran to the tomb. And stooping down, he saw the linen wrapping laying by themselves, and he went away home, marveling at what took place. And see, 2 of them were going to that same day to a village called Emmaus, which is 60 stadia, approximately 7 miles from Jerusalem. And were talking to each other all of this which had taken place. And it came to be, as they were talking and reasoning, that Yeshua himself drew near and went with them. But their eyes were restrained, so that they did not know him. And he said to them, What are these words you are exchanging with each other as you are walking? And you are sad? And one of whose name was Caphilas, answering, said to him, Are you the lone visitor in Jerusalem who does not know what took place in these days? And he said to them, What? And they said to him, Concerning Yeshua of Nazareth, he was a prophet, mighty indeed, and word before Elohim and all the people, and how the chief priests and our rulers delivered him to be condemned to death and impaled him. We, however, were expecting that it was he who was going to redeem Israel. But besides all this, today is the third day since these matters took place. But certain women of ours, who arrived at the tomb early, also astonished us when they did not find his body. They came saying that they had also seen a vision of messengers who said he was alive. And some of those with us went to the tomb and found it, as also the woman had said, but they did not see him. And he said to them, Yeshua, O thoughtless ones, and slow of heart, to believe in all that the prophets have spoken. Was it not necessary for the Messiah to suffer these and to enter into his esteem? And beginning at Moshe and all the prophets, he was explaining to them in all the scriptures these matters concerning himself. And they approached the village where they were going, and he seemed to be going on. But they urged him strongly, saying, Stay with us, for it is toward evening, and the day has declined. And he went in to stay with them. And it came to be, when he sat at the table with them, having taken the bread, he blessed, and being broken, he was giving it to them. And their eyes were opened, and they recognized him. And he disappeared from their sight. And they said to each other, Was not our heart burning within us as he was speaking with us on the way, and he was opening the scriptures to us? And rising up that same hour, they returned to Jerusalem, and found the 11, and those who were with them gathered together, saying, The Master has truly risen, and has appeared to Simon. And they related what took place on the way, and how he was recognized by them in the breaking of the bread. And as they were saying this, Yeshua himself stood in the midst of them, and said to them, Peace to you. And being startled and frightened, they thought they had seen a spirit. And he said to them, Why are you troubled? Why do you doubt? And why do doubts arise in your hearts? See my hands and my feet, that it is I myself. Handle me, and see. For a spirit does not have flesh and bone, as you see I have. And saying this, he showed them his hands and his feet. And while they were still not believing for joy and marveling, he said to them, Have you any food here? And they gave him a piece of broiled fish and some honeycomb. And taking it, he ate in their presence. And he said to them, These are the words which I spoke to you while I was still with you, with that have all been filled, that were written in the Torah of Moshe and the prophets and the Tehillim, Psalms, concerning me. Then he opened their minds to understanding the scriptures, and said to them, Thus it has been written, and so it was necessary for the Messiah to suffer and to rise again from the dead the third day, and that repentance and forgiveness of sins should be proclaimed in his name to all nations, beginning at Jerusalem. And while you are witnesses of these matters, and see, I am sending the promise of my Father upon you, but you are to remain in the city of Jerusalem until you are clothed with power from on high. And he led them out as far as Bethania, and lifting up his hands, he blessed them. And it came to be while he was blessing them that he parted from them and taken up into heaven. And they, having bowed down to him, returned to Jerusalem with great joy, and were continually in the set apart place, praising and blessing Elohim. Amen. Shalom. Make it a great day. Read your Bible. Talk to the Father.